Guys, how to make an API using Flask. So let's begin. I have two files to use, app.py and models.py. And so let me just delete this. And so we'll begin in app.py. So I've imported Flask and Flask RESTful. So let's just start off by making our Flask application. And then to run it, so we'll just do app.run. So now when we have this, when we run the application, so as you can see, the Flask server is running. Now we're going to go to models.py and set up our model. So over here, what I've done is imported SQL Alchemy. So our DB will equal SQL Alchemy. So we'll just set up a class called item model, db.model. So this will be the model that we'll be using. So we'll start off by making a table name, and we'll make it just item data. So it'll be item data.db. And so we'll start off by making our primary key. So id equals db.column db.integer, and we'll give it a primary key of true. And so what we're going to be taking is name, the price of the item, as well as the seller. So let's just copy this and paste it. And so for the name, we'll just make it a string, which will be the same for the seller. And for the price, we'll just change the string to an integer. So now that we've made our table, we'll define init. So we'll have self, name, price, and seller. And so self.name equals name. So we'll just do this for all of them. So self.price equals price, and self.seller equals seller. And then finally we'll define JSON. So this will return name with self.name, price, and self.price, as well as seller, which will be self.seller. And this should be a colon. Okay, so right here we finished our models.py. Now back to app.py. So over here, I have some code that will configure our SQL Alchemy database. So this is just creating the file itemdata.db and so on. And so actually we can change the table name to items over here, so it doesn't really matter. But so now that we have this, I've just copied it in. And so we have to import the DB because right now it's in models.py, so it's not accessible in app.py. So let's just import it as well as item data. So from models, import DB as well as item model. And so what we're going to do here is also define our API. So API equals the app, API app. So we'll make a class called items. And so inside of here, let's just define our get. So for inside of this, we'll just say items equals item model.query.all. And so then we'll just return items list. So index.json for index in items. And finally api.addResource items and /items. So now let's just save this and run the code. So our Flask is open. Now in Postman, I'm going to send a GET request. And as you can see, we have a status of 200 OK, and it sent us our items. So you can also see this by itemdata.db, which is now a file. So now, as you can see, there's nothing in items. So we have to make a way to be able to post items or add items. So let's do that right now. Now, I'm just going to define post self. So we'll just say data equals requests dot get JSON, and so our new item will equal item model data name as well as price as well as the seller. So then we'll do db.session.add our new item, and then after that we're going to commit, so db.session.commit. Then finally we'll just return message successfully added item, and maybe status code of 201 for created. Okay, so now let's just save this and go back to Postman. So again, we'll run our, we have to run our Flask server. So it's active. Now our GET request, again, nothing. So now I'm gonna do a post request, and over here in the body, so just say item 1, right, give it a random price, and then give it a seller. Now let's send. And as you can see, we get a message, successfully added item. Now let's go to get items and click send. And as you can see, our item would have popped in. So over here we have item 1, the price, and then the seller. So we can just make this, for example, item 2, and then we can change the price, and then change the seller, and send, and we still have success. And now in the get items, we'll have a second item. So item 2, seller James. And so that's it for today. So as you can see in the Flask server, we can also see these get requests and the post requests. So in future episodes, we're gonna add a way to delete certain items and also edit items. But that's it for this video.